Today we have an amazing guest, Julia Neiman. I hope I've got pronounced her name right. She's got a frozen face at the moment. I don't know. This is what happens with live broadcasting. So hopefully that's going to come free, but her audio's working. So there you go. So a little bit about Julia. Julia is an international best-selling author, a youth entrepreneurship coach, and creator of Monetize Your Passion Academy. Through 20 years working with disenfranchised teens, Julia experienced firsthand life-altering turnarounds achieved when teens are supported in monetizing their passions. Today, she is passionate about sharing these steps to entrepreneurial success with everyone. So welcome to the show, Julia. I'm so happy to have you on. We've been kind of chatting a bit behind the scenes and really love what you're doing. So how are you today?
I'm great, Andy, thanks. Am I still frozen or is it unfrozen now?
Yeah, you're frozen. It's kind of weird. It's I don't know what I'm here. But anyway.
Well, maybe frozen better than being upside down like Yale was.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I was enjoying that. I mean, I've never seen anybody drink water upside down, so that was a thrill for me, you know. So there you go. So hopefully, I mean, the good thing is the audio is coming through and we can see your face, so that's good.
Great. That's great. At some point it'll unfreeze. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry about this, guys. But anyway, maybe it's just on my system. So tell me a little bit about what you do. It's absolutely amazing what you're doing here. You know, could you tell me a little bit about it?
Oh, I absolutely can tell you. I can tell you a lot about it, actually.
Awesome.
But briefly, what we do is we actually empower teenagers and 20-somethings. And I also work with adults, but mostly I'm focusing on young people because that's where my heart is with the young people. And through entrepreneurship education, we give them an opportunity to take responsibility for their own economic well-being. And we teach them the mindset, the habits, and the values and the skills of entrepreneurship, and then actually help them start a business, which is determined by what they're passionate about. What do they want to do? You know, and what lifestyle do they lead? And will this business that they're going to start put them on the path toward that lifestyle? You know, I've got kids here's what really got me started doing this too. So I know that it works because I've done this for years. My very first client that I did this with was one of my foster youth, and he was 18 years old at the time and had quit a job. He had just gotten a job the day before at McDonald's, and he came home and he said, I quit my job. And it was like, what do you mean you quit your job? Why did you do that? You just got it. He said, I don't like the way they talked to me. They were totally disrespectful, and I'm not going to take that from anybody. Like, okay, I get that, you know. And really that was a pivotal moment in my life because this young man had a myriad of mental health issues. He had a very tough life. He suffered from depression. He had bipolar. He was taking a lot of psychotropic medications plus recreational drugs. So this young man had issues. So I sat him down because I realized if I couldn't come up with something for him right now that was going to help him be able to maintain a job or make money somehow, that he was going to be on welfare the rest of his life. He was going to be a drain on the system, taking the money from welfare and food stamps and really not doing anything. And his psychiatrist told me that their prediction for him was that in a year, he would either be in jail or dead.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's the path that he was on. So it turned out, I asked him, you know, well, what do you want to do? Do you have any dreams for your life? You know, what do you want to do forever? He wanted to be a professional skateboarder. But I saw him skateboard. He didn't have the skills. He didn't have the coordination for it. He was drugged a lot. He just wasn't in this world a lot in order to be a skateboarder. So instead of quashing that dream, I mean, I didn't want to be another, naysayer in his life. I asked him, well, do you have any skills, anything that you can do that's related to skateboarding that you can do while you're honing your skills, while you're on the road to becoming a professional skateboarder. So he gave it some thought and he said, I can draw. I go, great, let me see your drawings. So he brought me back hundreds of drawings. This kid was so good, he could have been an animator for Disney. I mean, he was amazingly talented. And had he been able to maintain a job, I would have introduced him to somebody at Disney because he was that good. But he couldn't handle that. So what we thought of was we came up with doing drawings to customize skateboards in the same way they do on surfboards. So he liked that idea. He came back the very next day. I mean, this shows you when you do something that they're passionate about, they just do it. They don't think twice about it. It doesn't matter if they're lazy or whatever. When it's something that they love to do, they do it. He came back the very next morning with 12 designs.
Wow.
12.
Wow.
He's up all night doing these drawings. And he said, oh, this is great. I'm so excited. He goes, but how do we sell this? Who's going to buy these? So I said, I don't know who manufactures your skateboard. And we called the guy. We go, let's start there. And we'll find out how this works. So we called the guy, and the guy said, well, I have an artist that I work with. He goes, but what the heck? Send me the designs, and I'll have a look at them. So we faxed over the designs. The very next day, this is 48 hours later, the next day the guy calls, and he goes, I really like these. I'll take 4 of them.
Awesome.
And he bought 4 designs, and the kid was in business in 48 hours. And then we put those designs, those 4 aside, and he created more. And we contacted all the skateboard manufacturers we could find, and he started selling his designs. They were really pleased with them. And then a couple weeks later, he came in. He was so energized. He said, well, if I had some silk screening equipment, I could do some designs for silk screening and maybe do some T-shirts. And I would have samples. I could go to the local sporting goods store and see if they like them. So between his county worker and I, we got him the equipment that he needed, and he did that. And a couple of weeks later, his stuff was hanging in the sporting goods store. And that's how easy it was. And he's now, this is like 15 years later, and I've lost touch with him, but I know somebody that saw him not long ago and said he's still doing this. And he's not rich off of it because, he has depression where days where he can't work for weeks on end. But when he does work, he's making money. He pays his rent. He has his own apartment. He has a car. He eats well. He dresses nicely. So he's making a living doing something that he loves to do. And if it wasn't something that he loved to do, he wouldn't be doing it.
I love it. And it's like mixing 2 of his passions together. So skateboarding and his passion, his talent for art. And the
That's
two
right.
just go together beautifully because, he can... he can just put his art into something that he's passionate about. That's fantastic. I just want to test the live stream and just see if it's working. So I'm just gonna you'll kind of hit 2 of us together beautifully because he can he can just I just want to hear you into something that he's passionate about. That's fantastic. I just want to test the live. Okay, that's good. So it's coming through. It's interesting because you're frozen on my screen, but in real life, you're actually coming through fine and you're moving and everything. So it's just me. So that's great.
Great. Good screen, then. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing I'm smiling all this time, right?
Yeah, it is. Good. Yeah, it's good. You're not kind of, do I look all right or whatever, or do something, water or goodness knows what.
I just have a feeling, you have to hold. That's the thing about being a professional. You have to hold it together no matter what's going on around you.
It's true. True. I always remember when I was a kid, there was a program called Tiswas. Today is Saturday, watch and smile. And things were always going wrong. And that's why, it's a kids program, but adults watched it because of all the mistakes they made. And, when they were making a mistake, I remember this one guy, he's always saying, keep smiling. That always, I think that's absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on.
Kids are great that way. Kids are great that way.
Yeah.
So
Well, this was the reporter was saying that one of the key guys. He was always saying it to people. Keep silent, keep silent. Awesome.
That's really funny. Kids are wonderful. I love working with young people.
And
I just love it.
I love what you're doing. It's so important because, I know we've oversaid this, kids are our future, but it's the truth and we just have to acknowledge it. And it's beautiful to be working as you are now because, as we get older, we kind of, stuff just piles on of things getting bad and worse and worse, and we're not going in the right direction at the beginning. To get a good start is just such a blessing. So it's just fabulous what you're doing. Really.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I really do. And my bigger mission, I have a bigger mission, and the Monetize Your Passion Academy is actually going to be supporting that mission. And the mission is to end youth unemployment worldwide.
Wow.
Because it's a major crisis. You and I have talked about this. It's a major crisis all over the globe. 83 out of 100 teenagers, now just 18 to 20, are not working. That's a lot of kids. So when you think about the future, and in this country alone, in the United States alone, we have to add 15 million jobs to accommodate the young people just in the next decade coming into the workforce. Where are those jobs going to come from? So teaching them entrepreneurship gives them control over their life. They're not all going to be successful, and not everybody can be an entrepreneur. However, Harvard did a study, the Harvard Graduate School, along with the National Institute of Entrepreneurship. They did a study and concluded that students who are taught entrepreneurship skills, whether they become an entrepreneur or not, it makes them better students. They stay in school longer. They realize that they have choices in life. They come to realize that things like math and English actually have some relevance in their life, which they wouldn't have before. It builds their self-esteem. There's a lot of benefits that come out of entrepreneurship education. It teaches them things like critical thinking skills, which aren't taught in schools anymore. How to make a decision. Nobody teaches that in school anymore. It was taught in school when I was growing up. They taught us how to think. So these are things that are inherent in this program. It's not just teaching them how to make money. It's giving them ways, to make good decisions and risk-taking, like calculated risk-taking, not just jumping off a cliff, but, looking at, okay, what's going to happen if I take this jump? What are the potentials, the positive potentials? What are the negative potentials? And then weigh the risk against the possible benefit and make a decision as to whether to go for it or not. They don't teach that in school anymore. And obviously, Andy, this program isn't for kids that are going to go to Harvard. It's not for that level of young person. It's for kids that maybe don't know what they want to do in life, kids that maybe have some difficulties in their lives, kids that are stuck at home because they can't find a job, kids that don't want to go to school, whose parents cannot afford the crushing student debt, so they're not likely to go to college and they need some alternative. That's the solution to those problems.
Awesome. Picking up on a few points that you're saying, I love it. I'll be honest, it's like I did okay at school, but I found it a real struggle. And when I got a degree in electrical electronic engineering, and that got me my job in computing, but I didn't really use a great depth of knowledge that I'd learned there, because it's board swapping and troubleshooting and stuff like this. And then I had to learn how to, just simple programming, just from some simple commands. But what it did teach me was the ability to learn. I learned how to learn, if you like, and it just didn't feel that relevant. And everything, it's like I realized that I'm making a big error. I consume a lot of stuff on Audible, and I like to listen. I'm not a very fast reader because I like to read very slowly. It's just my style. It's just Audible works for me. And but I'm not taking notes as I'm doing it. And there's a group that I got involved in, Tube Ritual, that got me into YouTube, and I consumed a lot of the videos of the know-how. And really, it's useless. You've got to. A good friend of mine and a former client, he said to me, I will not read a book, I will not do a course unless I apply it. It's a complete waste of time. And he's fun. You've got to, you learn something, apply it, learn something, apply it. And so it's got to be relevant. It's obvious. And we traditional schooling, we don't apply. It's all theory, learn. And it's not, you haven't picked your subject. You haven't picked what your passion is. So it's just, very tedious and nonsensical. So this is all.
No, it's really true. I've been like 47 years out of high school, okay? I never used algebra once since the day I graduated, okay? Why did I need to struggle? I struggled through algebra. It's the only course ever. Math is the only thing I ever struggled with in school. Right. I got an A in it. I got myself a tutor because I was not going to lose my 4.0 grade point average, right? Over numbers. So I got myself a tutor, but there's a lot of useless things that they teach in school, and a lot of things they should be teaching that they don't teach anymore. They don't teach civics. People don't know how government works. They don't teach it. People have to learn that. People are voting.
Yeah.
You're voting. You're uneducated voters. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why things are falling apart. We need to do something. This is education 2.0. And it was interesting that you said that, that you have to implement. It's like you have to implement at the speed of instruction. So when somebody teaches you something, you got to do it right now while it's still fresh in your head. Mm-hmm. Do it right now. That's the best way to integrate the learning.
Exactly.
Because if you don't use something that you learn quickly, you lose it. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah.
And it's obvious, we all know it, but it's not being done. It's just absolutely crazy. I feel for you.
Yeah, it is.
Totally agree with you about algebra. I mean, I was hopeless at maths. Fortunately, my father is a mathematician, and he spent hour upon hour every day helping me, and that became my best subject. But I've forgotten a ton of stuff, and there's times where A over B equals C is a useful equation to be able to suss out, or whatever it is. And even now, I know the theory, but I've actually sat down and went, well, this would actually be useful in this situation. And I can't figure it out. I can't even remember it. It's like, oh my goodness, what an absolute waste of space,
Exactly.
Time.
If you're going into a career where you need some portion of math, like for instance, at one point when I was doing a dissertation, I needed to know statistics. Because, when you do a dissertation, regardless of what it's on, you got to get statistics and you got to do these charts and show how useful it was. Okay, so I needed that. I learned it. Believe me, I could not replicate that today if I had to. It's gone. But it's really true. They teach us so many useless things. I mean, calculus is not something that you need unless you're an engineer.
Yeah.
And the guys that do the surveys on the road, they need calculus. I don't need calculus. I never needed it. I will never need it my whole life. Yeah, it's crazy the things that they make us learn. What I needed was fractions. Fractions really helped me because when I went to college, I was a caterer in order to pay my way through school, because I had to pay my own way through school. And I did catering, so the fractions came in handy because I had to, increase the recipes for lots of people. So I'd have a recipe for 6 people, I had to make it for 100. So fractions came in handy, but other than that, I don't know. I mean, I think they need to tailor education more toward individual need, which they're not ever going to do. I don't hold out a lot of hope for public education.
It's true, and I don't really know how they would actually do that. That would be just so difficult because they've got a herd of people and they want to just process them, put them through a system, and it's like individual needs. What? How are we going to deal with that? It's like.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right. And even the teachers and the counselors, they would all tell you that public education needs to be improved, but they don't know what the answer is. They don't know the solution to that because nobody in the administration is paying any attention.
Yeah.
And now the government is trying to dismantle public schools altogether. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future. That's why entrepreneurial education is so important.
But the great,
just really is.
You're doing what you're doing so that you can help people, and so at the end of it, after the education cycle, then the teenagers can become employable or self-employable and move forward from that situation.
Exactly.
Thank goodness.
And even if they don't, because not everybody can be an entrepreneur, that requires a certain amount of independent functioning. And a lot of people really need to have structure. They need to say, you need to do this by this. So for those people, the entrepreneurship education makes them better employees because they have a better understanding of what it takes to run a business, and they're more likely to have the confidence to share their feelings, or, if they think they see some way to do it better, to be able to share that in a more productive way than saying to the boss, you're a jerk, you should be doing it this way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as solopreneurs, I mean, we're going out there and we're kind of, we're the Lone Ranger and going out there and conquering and doing our thing. But we do need support. We do need guidance, and we do need a structure of what we're doing. I mean, it's kind of almost, I don't want to use the word ominous, but it is kind of like quite a little bit overwhelming at times, and there's so many different directions and getting so much information about what you should do. There's got to be a sequence of events, of what you should be doing. And everybody's going to tell you their thing. It's like you've got to get, several 100,000 Twitter following, and you've got to be really powerful on LinkedIn or whatever. And it's okay, they're all relevant, and you've got to have your ebook or whatever it is. But it's like, there's got to be a step by step, and there's a better way of doing stuff. And I think people are missing that so much.
Yeah, what you said is really important. There's so many people out there telling you what to do, and really it has to be based on your unique business. What are you doing? Who are your clients? That's why it's so important to know all that stuff. Like millennials, we have one, in order to premiere the academy, I did a series of interviews with our master trainers, people who are going to be training inside the academy. And one of them was a social media expert. And what he pointed out was that, okay, so the millennials are mostly on Instagram and Snapchat. That's their main hangout. And 30% or 35% of them are on Facebook because of family and friends, right? And that's it. Other than that, they don't do social media. Mm-hmm. And what he said to them was, it's really important to know what your business is and who your clients are. You may be, a millennial, but if you're going to sell to 40-somethings, 47-somethings, say you want to be a whitewater rafter guide, and you want to get people to come on your whitewater rafting trip, well, you have to go after older people who have the money to spend on trips like that, and they don't hang out on Instagram. So you need to find out where they hang out. Maybe they are on LinkedIn, and you need to reach out to professionals who have money. So you need to figure out how to use LinkedIn, because you have to go where your clients are. That's a really important lesson for an entrepreneur. Learn who your clients are going to be, learn where they are, and then that's where you need to be, regardless of whether you like that platform or not. It's not about liking something. It's about, getting your message out there to the people who are going to buy what you're selling.
I agree. But if you've got somebody, and I'm not trying to throw a spanner in the work, I completely agree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying this for creativity's sake. It's like if you've got a campaign, if you're really good on Instagram and you put a campaign in there and say, show your father this cool thing and tell him to go pay for this, he should do it. Go do it now. Maybe something like that works. So sometimes, but I totally agree. You need to go where the audience is always. And it's interesting you said that, because I get so many people. I mean, Twitter's something that I'm not got into, and I'm just got an aversion to it. And I'm getting more into it now because I know that copy is important, and I see that Twitter could be a good way to develop my copy, because I've got to be concise, interesting, impactful, and attention grabbing. So I'm going to go and experiment with that. So this is an evolution, but I stay on Facebook because that's where I love being. But obviously, if you're in a completely wrong part of social media, then you definitely got to do something about that. Absolutely.
However, for what you do, these live streaming interviews, this is the perfect platform to have it. But what you need to do, if your clients aren't here, you need to go where they are and invite them in.
Yes.
Say, hey, I'm doing this on Facebook because that's where I can make it work. Come on in, right? Yeah. But you have to go where they are so that they can find you here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah, awesome.
And then building a following isn't that hard if you know how to do it. And it's really about developing a good strategy. And strategizing is something else they don't teach in public school, right?
Right.
They don't teach you how to strategize. So that's an entrepreneurial skill that we're very big on. And you have to strategize, and you have to figure out, you know, what your message is and who you want to talk to, and then bring them over. If Facebook is where you do these live streams, because I don't think you can do this on Twitter.
Well, there was
can you do
Periscope?
I think you can do it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And who even uses Twitter?
Periscope is what is the Twitter platform, but I don't know whether that's still, you know, live and kicking. I know that was going away, but that was what that was for. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I resisted Instagram for a long time. It's like, I do not want to do that. I do not want to learn another platform. But that's where the millennials are. So I said, okay, I've got to get over this resistance. Is another entrepreneurial skill, is like learning how to deal with your resistance and then get over it so that you can reach the people that you need to reach. And it's going really well on Instagram, I have to say.
Well, you say entrepreneurial skill, but this is where transformational entrepreneur comes in, because you're doing inner work on yourself. It's like the block is not, you know, external, it's internal. So you got to work on yourself to move forward, you know.
That's exactly right. You're right. And we have modules on that. We talk a lot about, we start with, you know, get the reality check. Like, where are you? What's going on in your life, and where do you want to be? How, you know, and then look at, well, how do I close the gap to get there? So we do teach that, because let me tell you why I did that. I added that because most of the really successful entrepreneurs, and I'm talking about on Richard Branson's level, and really billionaires and multimillionaires, they do inner work every single day.
Absolutely.
Every day. They do the inner work. They do reality check on themselves. They look at where they are, who are they being, and who do they need to become in order to reach the next level that they want to reach. So this is something that they just do. And so we need to teach these skills, because if you ever hope to really get beyond where you are in this life, you need to find the skills to make that happen.
Absolutely.
You know,
it's definitely the inner work now. It's like, and this is so prevalent with top athletes and top sports people, because a good part of the time, yes, obviously they're training, they're getting their diet right and everything, and it's about mindset, but they're also visualizing exactly what they're going to be doing. So if they're running a race, they visualize every single step of the race. If they're, you know, a Formula One driver, they're literally sitting there in their seat, imagining each gear change, imagining each turn, imagining where they're going to be positioned. And so this is all, you know, people are realizing that it is an inner world that we need to work on to make our external world big. And that's what this TV show's all about. And this is what the work that you're doing, which is absolutely awesome.
It is. I'm really glad you brought that up about the athletes, because that is really true. And it's not that they just think about where they're going. They see it. They go inside, and it's like they turn on the TV in their brain and they see it happening. And when they get out on that track, or when they get out on the football field or the baseball diamond, they know exactly what those moves feel like, and they get into that feeling and they make it real. That's the key to winning. That's the key to being successful, right? And no matter what you're doing, whether you're a sports person or an entrepreneur or whatever. And so visualizing, we have our students start out in the module 1 by visualizing what they want their life to look like. Where do they want to be in life? You know, for the rest of their life, what do they want? How does that feel to them? That's an important skill, whether you're going to be an entrepreneur or not, because that's the pathway forward.
And there's 6 senses that you use, and this is the first time I'm talking about this. There's 6 senses that you use while you're doing the visualization. If you want to make it like a billion% potent, would you like to hear it?
Yeah. Yes, I would love it.
So we know the 5 senses, and it literally is like that. So most of the time they're just going to be visualizing with their mind of what it's all going to look like, but they're imagining the feel of the car, the smell of everything, using all in the tactile response, all of their senses. But the 6th sense, and this is the secret, this is it, this is the major mojo. It's basically there is a flow to life, and they're going with the flow, they're going with the energy, the right place to be, their intuition. This is all interrelated, all together. And that 6th sense and all of it together is the winning formula. And that's what it is.
That's right. Intuition is so important. And the great thing is we all have it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you don't know you have it doesn't mean you have it. Yeah. It's there. And I noticed lately there are so many coaching practices popping up around teaching people to get in touch with their intuition.
Yeah.
And you know what's really great about that, Andy? I'm so happy you brought that up. And I can see that you're going to be coming in the academy and teaching some lessons on this.
Great.
So
thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to help you do that.
Awesome.
What's really important is like the intuition and the 6th sense is all related to raising your awareness and your consciousness. And that's that's where the transformation happens.
Yes.
That's where transformation happens, when your intuition tells you which way to move. It raises your awareness and your level of consciousness, and you can change anything. And that's how the world is going to change.
And it's linked, and we talked about this offline, and it's like, this is all about linking back to the old ways, because in the past, before we had all this technology, which is taking us away from our true self, we did everything by intuition, by flow. We knew the right place to go. We knew the right thing to do. If we were short of water, almost this knowledge of where the water would be, or where we should get food, or whatever it is. I know this sounds really woo-woo, but it's reality. It's true. You get back into nature, go on a hike, and you will start connecting back to yourself again, back to nature, away from all this technology, which is taking away from our true selves. And you'll start connecting with something. You'll feel different. Your reactions will be different. The way that you decisions and so on are different. And the more you do it, the more you get out there, the more you connect back to, your true self, back to nature, to the true being and energy of who we are, then this is going to make shifts on how you do everything.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And this is the path forward for this entire planet. And it's happening. It's really happening. People are waking up to the fact that they have the power in themselves, that they just need to turn inward and do the work. I have a little quote, and I put it on a picture, and it's like, the pathway forward requires many mindset shifts. Mm-hmm. Say that 5 times fast. That's a mouthful. But it's the truth. You have to keep changing your mindset each step along the way. And if you don't, you're going to be stuck where you are.
Yeah, it's all progress for sure, all progress. And don't get me wrong, I love my technology. I was going to say technocrat. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm a geek. I love my gizmos. Maybe I don't know.
Awesome.
And so I want both. I want the nature and I want all of that, but I want my Wi-Fi. I want my fancy phones and goodness knows what. Okay, well,
that's the engineer part in you.
There you go. There you go.
So, I have the fancy toys.
Well, we could talk on forever, and maybe we should do this again and revisit and talk again in the future. I'd love to have you on the show again.
I'd love it.
Awesome. Have you any final words you'd like to say? Have you got anything you'd like to offer? Do you want me to put monetizeyourpassion.com on the screen for people to connect with you? What's the best way to connect?
It's actually Monetize Your Passion Academy.
Business, yes, I said that wrong. I'm sorry. Let me just flash that
That's
up.
okay. That's okay. And if people want to contact me, I'm happy to talk to them about it. They can private message me on Facebook, or they can email me at julia@monetizeyourpassionacademy.com.
Okay, so
I'd be happy to talk to them about it. It's a very, because of the audience that we want to bring in, it's a very, very affordable program.
awesome.
And it's an evergreen. It's a membership site. So if I could really, really fast, it's a membership site. So it can come in. We're starting November 1st with the first lesson, but they can come in at any time.
Okay.
Because it is a membership site.
Awesome.
And it's going to be all online. It's an online classroom. And we have all of the things that are posted online, videos, the worksheets from the workbook, all the assignments. And we're also going to have a weekly call that's live to do some coaching and to answer questions. And we also have a private Facebook group. So we really want to make sure that everybody gets help, everybody gets their question answered, and everybody gets mentored to actually start a business and end the program with a business.
That's awesome. That's very cool. And is that just for teenagers and young people, or is that for any age group?
No, it's actually for any age group. I've got a good handful of adults that signed up already too. So
Excellent.
They're like, I need an extra business, or I have this business and it's not going anywhere. I don't know what to do with it. So we're going to bring them in, change their mindset, help them get that business set up in a way that's going to make it grow. And then when we move into year 2, whatever businesses have already been started, we're going to work on leveraging those up and growing them.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, have you got any final words as we disconnect, as we wrap up the show?
Yeah, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to meet your audience. I really appreciate it, and I was serious about having you come in and teach about intuition.
Love it. Let's do it.
And everybody just start thinking like an entrepreneur, and like go inside, make these changes, do the inner work that you need to do. It will make your life better.
Fantastic. I love what you're doing, and it's been an honor to have you on the show to share this. This is really important now, really where we're at, what we need. So it's beautiful, and just glad to support. So folks, go to this website, monetizeyyourpassionacademy.com, or if you want to talk to Julia, it's julia@monetizeyourpassionacademy.com. Thank you so much for being on, and you've been awesome. So thank you from Transformational Entrepreneur TV. Look forward to having you on the next time.
Thanks for watching. Hope you found this really useful. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, the good stuff that we always ask you for, and hit that bell button as well next to the subscribe. That'll get you notifications as soon as the next video's out. And talking of next videos, it's over there. Go click on it.